Can I get a receipt? A receipt?
No. There you are.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right, wonderful. It's time for a little bit of cleaning. They got themselves a strawberry acai with lemonade. Looks real good. All right, our first drop today for the Please Subscribe show is right here off Autumn Drive. And they ordered Starbucks, got a strawberry acai and some lemonade. Acai. It's like a berry. It's pronounced acai. Well, it's a true story. This area right here is known as Overton Park. When I was in college, one of my first years of college, my freshman year, we came here to film part of an indie film called The Blue Season. It was written by a resident playwright that works in Fort Worth at the Artist De La Rosa Theater. His name's Rob Vasquez. He wrote the screenplay, which is called Blue Season. And we did a lot of different scenes from it. We didn't get to do the entire script, but we got enough done and enough edited to get my friend Brandon Carter into NYU Tisch School of the Arts. Or actually, I think it was in NYU Film School. I think they are part of Tisch. But this was back in maybe 1994. And Brandon went off to New York. We saw him a few years after that and then never heard of him again. So I don't know if he's in the industry and they're just kind of quiet and private. You know, I don't know if he's doing editing or what, if he's working under a pseudonym or what, but I haven't heard of him since. We all made an agreement. Rob kept to the agreement. We drank a thing called a potion. And it was at IHOP. It was a mixture of like milk chocolate, soda drinks, iced tea, lemonade. It was like a mixture of all these different drinks. We put different types of syrup in it. You know, so it'd be kind of hard to drink, you know. And so we mixed it up. We made an agreement. We'd all drink this potion. It'd be a magic potion. And it'd get us back together again to make a film. Later on, I guess maybe, way later, Rob and I would work on a lot of different projects before that. But Rob and I did finally get together 2017 or 18. I think it was, no, I think it was 2019. Maybe closer to 2019. It was a summer, and I met an editor at the Dallas Art Institute through Lyft. I was a Lyft driver. And he talked to me about DaVinci Resolve, and he said he'd help me make films. So we wanted to make a feature, so I wrote a script, and I sent it to Rob. And we did portions of it, and it turned out to be 3 shorts. We ended up doing 3 short films based on this feature. And then we did a version of the feature, and Rob helped me with it. So he kept to the promise of the potion, and we ended up, and it is probably a good piece of work. And when I go back and watch it, there's an emotional connection. And I don't always have an emotional connection with the movie, even great movies. But there's an emotional connection within the film. Now, it doesn't have the best technological advancement. It's not a James Cameron movie, but we were using an S8 and a zoom. The S8 was used on the set of From Now Until Morning, and also on Once in a Lifetime, the feature. And at times I used the zoom too, so we had our own sound. And then Rob helped a little bit with storyline editing, like to bring out a story, to give me some ideas about a story within the footage that I had. And I went by kind of his laydown on, you can try doing this and that, and I followed the steps pretty much strategically and put them down as a main storyline editor. And then we released it on YouTube. You can find it under Once in a Lifetime Cole Spivey. It's also under From Now Until Morning Cole Spivey, and it's also under Once in a Lifetime, or in the initials OIALT. It'd be Once in a Lifetime or OIALT. It's either or. Pretty good little film. It's about this Uber driver who plays music, has a family, and a pastor named Pastor Rec. I believe the Uber driver's name Ash Cole, which is basically my pseudonym for some story as a storyteller or as a writer. So it's like my pseudonym came to life and was an Uber driver. Check it out. It's a pretty good. It's a feature that we already have out under Drive Film Productions of Texas. It's actually a real business, and it's also it's under my name as a producer. I was the producer behind it. I even paid. I had a payment thing. Wasn't a lot of money, but I paid a little bit, enough to cover gas and things like that. So it was, everybody got a little cut. Still there floating around. I went back and watched it. I was like, hey, this is kind of original. I consider it original work. Corbin's in it. He's the editor. He plays the guy in the back seat. It's called the Rider. And RIDER. And Rob's Pastor Rec. And my character's, was it John? No, let's see. John Blood. No, that's another one. It was Ash Cole. Yeah, Ash Cole. It's a character. The most important advice to the future filmmaker is do it. That's it. Do it. Don't worry about money. Pick up the camera and start it. Anyway, films have been made with scripts and without scripts, with actors and without actors. Just start filming, or it'll never be done. You can talk about it till you're blue in the face. Oh, that dog was about to throw one. But if you don't do it, it won't be done. Once it's done, it's done. Once you publish it, it's so easy. It's so easy today to publish. You have to do it. Don't worry about the greats. Don't worry about Scorsese. Don't worry about Spielberg. Don't worry about David Fincher. Don't worry about them. They'll do what they have to do. You do what you have to do, and then simply do it. They'll see the originality just as you see the originality in their work. They've got a certain form and fashion. You got a certain form and fashion. Both are great. Promise you, hundreds of years when they look back, your stuff will still be there because it's digital. Now, the 35mm stuff will probably still be there too because they're turning a lot of that into digital. But regardless, you as a filmmaker today have it easy. It's the easiest it's ever been to actually make a film. You can do it on $100 or less. You can do it on just gas money. But that's my suggestion. Do it. Do it now. Stop waiting for approval or it'll never get done. I've done more than 1,590 vlogs. I've done well more than that. Because I only count a few of them for that day. So I may post 4 or 5 different edited vlogs a day. I've posted up to 20 edited vlogs a day, some even being more than 20 minutes long. and it takes all night. I work all night. Ask Linda. I don't get a lot of sleep. I work myself to exhaustion, and it's hard, and I know that people are looking at it going, oh my God. But I did the same when I looked at Jordan the Lion stuff, and I looked at Adam the Woo. I was like, this is an incredible amount of short films. Incredible short footage, you know, short videos. But I have more than they do. I have 3 times more than you know, all of them together don't have as much as me. Well, not all of them, and there's a big cast of characters with Adam the Woo. But I have more than Adam. I have more than Jordan. Far more, like 3 or 4 times more. And they know it. They're looking at it going, what? How? I know what they're saying. They're like, how is this physically possible? I have to tell you something about myself. I was a 4.0 student, and I'd spend like 6 hours in the math lab. 6 hours nonstop in the math lab, just to make sure I'd get A's on my calculus, you know. I would spend all day in the library. From morning until night. I had no social life in college. Sometimes, every once in a while, I'd go to a party, if it was a cast party for theater. After our rehearsals, I'd go straight to my dorm, I'd memorize, and I'd start working on all my studies. Because I was afraid they'd kick me out if I didn't have a 4.0. I didn't do well in high school, but I was a 4.0 student in college. I made the president's list. Many times I made the dean's list. I had to make straight A's. I found a way to do it, and I made myself study nearly to death. When I took this English class, I smoked cigarettes, and I drank coffee, and made myself like read a book in one night. It was crazy. I didn't have a television for 4 years in one college. One college I went to was UNT. My roommate was a radio, television, film major. I was a theater arts major. He had the television, but I was only rooming with him for 1 year. And then I roomed with this black guy that was a media. He was communication. I think he was going to go into media, but he was a communication major. Roomed with him for about a year, and then I roomed on my own for about a year. And then I got my own apartment. And I did a lot of reading. But I think that paid off because, you know, I'm not saying that I work harder than Adam, because I know Adam works incredibly hard. I can tell by looking at his work. And to be honest, I think his work is, I think at times it's better. I think we're both got complete different styles, but he's very sharp as a wit. He spends 6 hours a night editing, or 4 to 6 hours. He's no joke at all. You know, everything's a cut. He starts in with a great intro. He's a great performer, a great speaker. He knows all the vocabulary, the vernacular. He's a great spokesman. He has his own television show. It's a YouTube show, but it's very similar to the old television shows, like what was that one called? That's Amazing. Have you ever seen that one? That's Amazing. All those old shows where you go around and it's all trivia, or you know, they're showing off different park rides and amazing things, you know. But you know, he does Disney World. He has his own show, so it's not That's Amazing, but it's similar to that. I was a big fan of that show when I was younger. That show, That's Amazing. But you know, we have different styles because I'm coming from a place where you're supposed to just be real. So you're going, wow, this guy's pretty real, because I was trained to be that way. I wasn't trained to put on a front, and I try to put on a front. I try to put on this, hi, I'm Cole Spivey, this is the Please Subscribe show, which people want to see. I try to. But I was trained to be a realistic actor and just to be real. And I think, well, why not give them some of that too, you know? So I give them a little bit of everything. I try to. You know, you got De Niro in a lot of his dramas, and then you got Robert De Niro in King of Comedy, you know? So I try to give them King of Comedy if I can. But I also try to give them like what I'm feeling and how I'm doing. So it's not just, you know, it's not something where I'm hiding the truth. And my mom gets mad when I show Linda smoking or drinking. And I try to tell Linda to stop, you know, because I'm also a Christian. I'm not going to lie about my faith. That's why I ask for prayers and stuff. It's not evangelical. It's just me posting stuff. It's me doing this show called the Please Subscribe show. Nothing more, nothing less than that, really. You know, with religion, I'm going to say something about religion. It's real easy to make someone a failure with that. Let the ministers be ministers. They went to the theological schools. They've been trained by people that probably know psychology to how to deal with it. So let them be that. I'm just gonna be me, you know. Anyway, we're taking kind of like a little break. Story that I was reading, one of the stories I was reading when all of that, and I saw the ghost of Kurt Vonnegut in one of the houses, was called The Barn House Effect. Read it, it's a good short story. Roll away from Kansas. And they're all the way from Mississippi, Mississippi. We're headed to Cousin's Barbecue. Pick up some Cousin's Barbecue. Don't you love it when your cousins barbecue? Appreciate it. You know, with country music and country fans, it's always, every time that's a real good song. I mean, it's a real good, listen to this song right here, listen to this song. My dad do it to me all the time. You know, and you go back and you listen to these songs, they're the worst, you know. They're like sappy, and I mean, listen to this song. It's a real good song. Let me turn it up right here. Let me turn it up. Listen to this. I remember one time, yeah, we went to Hot Springs, and there was some song that was like a #1 hit song. I think one of the things was a bullet in my head. It was y'all know what I'm talking about. It was like during like the late 90s. It's like this Hispanic singer that came out with this one song. One of the lines was a bullet in my head, so y'all know which song it is. It's not the Smashing Pumpkins one. This is like a country. Well, it's not really country. It's almost like Latino. The whole entire way. I don't even remember the song. The entire way to from Texas to Hot Springs, Arkansas. The entire way we had to listen to the song over and over and over again. And he would eat. My stepmom would feed him cheese and crackers, and I was probably 27, dating a 18-year-old at the time, so I was watching my weight. So I'd sit there and watch them eat, you know. I bet if I didn't take that trip, I'd probably be a teacher today and married to that woman that I was dating. Because of that trip, I lost that marriage. I learned my lesson after going back and analyzing things. Escape from Maine has a ghostly father figure in it. He's kind of annoying kind of figure because my father mentally abused my sister and I. Physically abused my sister more, but mentally abused us to a pretty heightened degree when we were growing up because of the divorce. Stepmom, part of it. Stepdad, it's all part of the whole thing. And I think one of the things he said when he picked me up after I got that ticket, Keller Jail, and I found out he wasn't the one that helped, pay for that and everything because I was going through hard times. One thing he said, he's like, Cole, we don't watch your show. This is like the last ages of his life, the last ages of his life. And I don't think that we're going to heal. I don't think it's going to happen. It's sad. It's tragic. Life can be tragic. But I don't think we're going to heal enough from the mental abuse to be able to be like, hey, how you doing? How's Thanksgiving? It's not going to work, unfortunately. My mom and I still talk and everything. But when you abuse your child to a certain extent, and I'm glad I don't have to go through this as a father, but when you abuse your child to a certain extent over years and years and years and years and years, I think what you do is you do too much damage. And they get to the point where they think about life and the little things that they have, because usually abused children, and they grow up to be usually public poverty stricken or so, especially if the parents were rich and they practice abuse. So when it gets to that point in life, and you think, I'd rather have the little things that I have now than to have nothing, because I openly forgave this person. And there's nothing wrong with forgiving. I forgive, but I'm talking about like going and saying, I forgive you, Dad, and all that stuff. And I've done it before, but I keep doing it. So it's so weird. So I keep doing that over and over again. Because me saying that I forgive doesn't necessarily do it. That bitterness is still there. And that bitterness is not good to have. When someone abuses you, it's because they're weak. And they can't triumph over you. They cannot triumph over you. But they abuse you, abuse you, abuse you. And keep abusing you in order to be victorious over you. They can't be that way over you. You know, now if I was, I have to admit, if I was a millionaire and I had like 3 or 4 Oscars, which I plan to have hopefully someday. But if I had all of that and I was victorious, then it would be easy for me to go back. But as a failure, and I know Jesus is right, as a failure, I can't do it. You know, I can't do that. And as some, maybe a failure, some maybe a success, depending on the art of it all. But there's only so much I can do. And I tried to a certain extent. I tried my first marriage, it didn't work. I tried my second marriage, it did not work. It did not work. I lost everything. And they were fighting over, like the kids would come over, it'd be like Christmas time, and the stepmom would be fighting over them over something trivial, like a Christmas tree ornament or something, because the kids were just being kids, you know. They were alive and well. We were a happy family over there, where the point where my wife at the time couldn't be over there. They were so abusive to her, the whole side of that family. I'm sorry, it sounds wrong to do, but I've had enough. I can't do that anymore. And one of these days, my life is going to change. The tables are going to turn, and they know it because they know how life works. He won't be around to see it because he won't allow himself to be around to see it. Because simpletons and people that are just evil, you know, don't want to see success of anybody that they know, even their own children. They don't want to see financial success or any of that stuff for any of them. They don't want to see it. They won't see it. They'll go to the graves rather than see it. And they'll find a way to do that. And you can't stop them. Oh, that cousin barbecue smells real good. See, people earn this. They got all this because their family thinks they deserve it. That's the reason they have what we're looking at right now. Their family wants them to have this. And the father, when he goes back, or he comes and visits them during the holidays and sees all this, is happy for them to have all this and is not jealous of them. You know, that's the reason why people have these kinds of things. It's because of their parents. Their parents want, you know, a lot of times the parents are still married. If you'll look and do research on the people that own these houses, their original family members or their original parents are still married today. There's no feuding going on. God does not like feuding. He does not like people fighting. He does not like anger and jealousy. He doesn't like that. And that's why these people have that, because they don't have a jealous bone in their body. They were giving and they learned the Christian concepts from their parents. And they were given these mansions as representation of the mansions that they'll live in heaven. That's a representation of the mansion. That mansion's nothing compared to the mansion they'll live in heaven. Because their parents want them to have those types of things. That's the reason why. Very rarely do any of them go from rags to riches, but it does happen sometimes. In my case, it will. And my father will not be around to see me live in something like this. He will not be around. I will earn it, though. I have what it takes to earn to get something 5 times that size. I'll work myself until I get it. But my father will not see it. He'll forbid it until the day he dies. True story. It's a true story. Because he'll just use religion. But everybody that's jealous always uses religion to back their jealousy and their evil and their abuse. Because their parents that helped them achieve these things had not abused them at all. There's no abuse that was given to them at all. And really, that's not that big compared to what I'll have. That's very small. Compared to what movie stars have, they have 5 times that amount and 5 times the property. And it's on expensive, expensive land in California. The land is very expensive. And it's huge. It's 5 times bigger than that. They have like a mall. They live in like malls. They're huge homes. These are like apartments compared to what they have. Check it out. Look online. Look at the houses they have. It's about 5 times bigger than that. They have houses that have 40 or 50 rooms or more than that. These have what, 20? They have houses that have like 100 rooms. That's an apartment-sized place compared to what some billionaires have. This is nothing. This is small change compared to what I'll have. I promise you, it's true. I'm only waiting to get my little piece of revenge too. I'm doing all this as well to get my little payback as well, because that's what an abused person does. Look at the movie Kill Bill. She went back and did everything that she did in Kill Bill out of revenge, and that's what kept her strong and you know, and fit and ready to achieve that.